Hey everyone, and welcome to another roasting of Crap Gamer and his complete and utter lack of logic and sensibility. Now in these videos I speak about crap, but my statements are also directed at his butt buddies and followers because they all need these lessons as well, and I know some of them are watching. But anyways, the ridiculous statements made by Crap came after the Crackdown 3 demo from Gamescom, where they showed 100% destructible environments, and then boldly claimed that with cloud power, the Xbox One is now 13 times more powerful. So let's just talk about that for a minute because the statement is obviously not entirely true. Now we all know the Xbox One on average is a 900p console. This means that the majority of its games have 1,296,000 pixels on screen at a time. Now if that were multiplied by 13, that would mean the Xbox One would be capable of outputting 16,848,000 pixels on screen, effectively making it a console capable of rendering games in native 5K with room to spare. And it would also be able to do this at up to 600 frames per second with no drops or issues whatsoever. So do any of you really believe that the cloud can make Xbox One 13 times more powerful? Well, when you take away the smoke and mirrors, it might start to make a little sense. We all know that gaming consoles and PCs as well are comprised of a CPU and a GPU which work hand in hand to process information and render graphics. The CPU basically handles all of the processing information that is happening in the game, and it is also sending all of the information to the GPU, and that is where the images and performance that you see on your screen comes to life. So it's kind of almost like the CPU is the boss, and he's standing there shouting orders at the GPU, and the GPU is doing all of the work. The GPU is responsible for the graphics and the game's overall performance, whereas the CPU handles things like AI and physics. For example, if you see an NPC in a game or an enemy or whatever it may be, the CPU is what is controlling how and where the character is moving and what they are doing. If you were to see an object explode, all of the pieces go flying everywhere, the CPU is what is telling those parts and pieces where to fly and how to land, etc. So in the demo we saw of Crackdown 3, the power of the cloud was multiplying the CPU power, not the GPU. Because if it were also rendering GPU power, then the game most likely would have looked more like a current gen game and less like a cheap tech demo. But anyways, the developers who were showing off the demo were boasting about how some individual multiplayer games can be linked up to as many as 14 different cloud servers, all of which are performing different compute tasks on behalf of the console. They boasted about how all of the destructible objects are physically accurate in the way that they fall and react to one another within their environment. They made several points about how when the buildings collapse into smaller pieces on the ground, that each of those pieces is still a physical piece that can be interacted with and so forth. And while all of this stuff sounds and looks impressive, it's really nothing new, as you can clearly see by the gameplay you're watching. So for those of you that don't know, this is Red Faction Armageddon. It's a 4-year-old game that is designed to run on 10-year-old hardware. Everything is in-engine, offline, without any type of cloud support or anything like that whatsoever. This game has the exact same level of destruction, the same physically accurate animations, everything, although it's on a smaller scale. But like I said, its hardware is 10 years old. So here's the thing about these Xbots. They're so uneducated when it comes to video games and how they work, yet they're so quick to spout out the mouth whenever they see something that looks impressive to them. And what I find funny is that everything they've been getting excited over lately is all old stuff. Rare Replay is a bunch of old games and they're excited for that. Backwards compatibility is a huge focus on old games and they're all excited for that. And as I'm proving with this gameplay in the background, the mass destruction featured in the upcoming Xbox exclusive Crackdown 3 is also old, and it's been done before. Not just in Red Faction Armageddon, but in Red Faction Guerrilla, they also had the same thing, as well as other franchises like Battlefield, Mercenaries, Just Cause, just to name a few. They all had high levels of environmental destruction, and they're all last-gen games that didn't need any type of cloud power or anything like that whatsoever. Now what makes Crackdown 3 even more of a joke is that this level of destruction isn't even available in single player. And if I heard correctly, I believe the multiplayer is only up to 4 players? 4 players? I mean, just the mere mention of that is taking me back to my N64 days. And in order to achieve this, you also need 2 to 4 times the amount of internet bandwidth that an average online multiplayer game such as Call of Duty or Destiny requires to play. Now luckily, the average North American has the required speeds, however there's still so much that can go wrong here. I mean, what happens when those servers go down or when they start acting up? What happens when someone in your house starts watching Netflix or uploading to YouTube? What happens when one of your multiplayer opponents or one of your friends has a faulty connection? I mean, if you think those types of things bring issues to online multiplayer now, it will literally be amplified 2 to 4 times with Crackdown 3. And I may be speaking too early here, but I can honestly picture this game being quite possibly the laggiest online game ever made. But yeah, one last thing I want to mention, and this is basically going to wrap up this roast and put to rest yet another one of Crap's ridiculous statements. Now this isn't exactly new news, but it obviously flew over the heads like a roaring eagle, and this eagle is about to take a healthy shit of knowledge that's going to land right in their faces. But guess what? The PS4 also has a cloud. And no, contrary to popular belief, it's not only capable of streaming games to the PS4. Cloud servers are cloud servers. They can be used for whatever the developers want to use them for. Several things, including streaming games, hosting multiplayer matches, offloading compute tasks, and a bunch of other stuff. So with that said, you can see with proof in front of your eyes right now that the PS4 is capable of the exact same thing that Microsoft is currently doing with the Xbox One in terms of offloading compute tasks to the cloud. And for all of you Xbots who are watching this video, I'll even lower the quality of this image to 900p so you can see it better. PS4 can offload calculations to the cloud if developers choose. It's clear as day. So the final verdict of this video is that if the cloud can make Xbox One 13 times more powerful, then the cloud can also make the PS4 13 times more powerful. End of discussion. But wait, I actually have one question here, because when Microsoft was originally bragging about their cloud integration, they were boasting that it will make the Xbox One 4 times more powerful, and now suddenly it's 13 times more powerful? Where the hell did that come from? I mean, that seems kind of fishy to me. But either way, here's the bottom line. We can already play games with massive destructible environments without even needing an online connection. So while you guys eagerly await a game that's trying to take revolutionary credit for something that's already been done several times, I'll be here with my PlayStation homies playing new games with top-notch graphics, looking forward to what will really be the next revolutionary innovation in gaming, Project Morpheus Virtual Reality. So that's a wrap for this roasting. Crap, you lose again, chump. Keep getting excited over old things. It's funny to the rest of us. Thank you all for watching this week's roast. For those wondering, part 1 of my giveaway will be coming early this week, so be on the lookout for that. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Vile Self. Later, villains.